No, dude, they all work fine. I'm recording. I'm recording, by the way, so we might as well just get started because this is an interesting conversation.
No, 100%.
Shout out my guy Bllaine in the building.
What's
Meekins
good?
show.
What it do?
Yeah, dude, the Apollo, but even before the Apollo, there was something called the Duet.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember that shit? And it was just
Yep.
like, it looked like a phone,
Yeah,
and it had a little up and down wheel, kind of like the Apollo.
right.
But that thing was like $200. The blue mic is like $300, or
Right.
you can get one of these mics, the Shure SM7Bs.
And you watch any
That's it,
any
dude.
studio, right?
That's what I made Better Days on. The whole entire Lamp City, the first Lamp City album. That's literally this album.
Yeah,
I made that on that exact setup. The
right.
Duet, $200 interface, $300 blue microphone, and the same Rocket speakers that I have right now.
Which just anybody could do it. You just have to like have the motivation, like figure out like, oh, what are these people doing to do this?
Yeah, it's you know, that's what's so crazy now is that there's no barrier to entry like for any of this stuff.
It's exactly.
And even when I
what
started doing it, it just started to be a thing that you could record at home and make music and like, put it out on YouTube and shit. But
Right.
now it's even more so. The barrier to entry on the equipment is gone, but the barrier to entry on even the marketing is gone too.
100%.
Because now you can
Yeah.
just market on TikTok or like whatever the fuck.
Right. Or
Else.
just funnel people to your Instagram or YouTube, whatever you have to do.
Right.
And it's like a lot of people are like, oh, how do you get your music onto Spotify or iTunes? It's just like, look up these distribution websites, you know, like DistroKid or TuneCore or
Yeah, I'm trying to think about how I even like discovered TuneCore or any of those distribution things. And I think TuneCore was pretty early on when I started putting music on iTunes. Like,
right, because it went TuneCore and then
Right.
CD Baby.
Yeah, I think CD Baby was first, but then
Might have been first.
TuneCore became bigger.
Right.
And this is probably like 2009, 2010. And then DistroKid came a lot later because DistroKid spun off from
CD Baby and
CD
TuneCore.
Baby and TuneCore. And the guys who started TuneCore, I know
And
there was a lot of problems with the whole TuneCore situation. Somebody came in, some big investor came in and like bought out TuneCore and then just like destroyed their whole fucking company and like,
Right, and that's
fired a
like
bunch of
this-
people. And
I think it was like the CEO from TuneCore and CD Baby
Yeah.
got together to make DistroKid.
right, it was something like that, yeah. And
Something along those lines.
the TuneCore shit is just kind of whack, man. Like it's so funny when you like can build up a company like that and then it's like your baby and then somebody comes in and just fucks the whole thing up.
Right.
Like the guy who created that company is just like, you know, fuck these guys.
you had such a good thing going. You were
Yeah.
the guys.
Yeah, I hit him up trying to bring him on the podcast. He never responded, but maybe he will. But because I feel like that's a really interesting story.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Like it was some shit like the guy came in and like bought the company for like $400 million and then like fired everybody. And then the quality of the whole situation just went downhill super fast. Artists weren't getting paid as quick. It was just a whole like nightmare, dude. And they were just...
So are you trying to get the guy who came in and bought it?
No,
Or
I
the
was
guy that
trying to
got
get the
pushed
guy
out?
who founded TuneCore.
Right,
His name's
right.
Jeff.
Uh-huh.
He founded TuneCore, and now he's doing a big... he does a lot of work with music licensing and music publishing and stuff like that, and like basically figuring out how to get money for artists where they don't know where the money is. Because there's
Right,
all these...
sure.
For people who don't know, there's so many complicated aspects of royalties, music
Such a big
publishing...
thing.
It's just crazy. There's like 100 different types of royalties on songs, and none of these companies want you to know where the royalties are. And so unless you have an administrator or a label doing it, it's like impossible to find all the royalties.
Right.
So if you're an independent artist and you're just uploading your music through TuneCore, chances are, unless you're using TuneCore publishing, which isn't the best thing because they're taking a ton of fees and everything like that, you know, if you're not using a administrative service that's getting your publishing, then you're missing out on like a ton of money from all these different places. And I still don't. I mean, I've been doing this shit for 10 years. I still don't even know for sure
Right.
that I'm actually getting it all from all the right places.
Right. Getting every penny that you're supposed to be getting. It's crazy because I just uploaded a new project yesterday, right? I'm like, oh, the year's ending. The project I've been talking to you about with Scotty Mac.
Yeah.
So I finally uploaded it. I just put all the what do they call the ISR
ISRC. Yeah.
Yeah. So I added all those and did the whole thing on DistroKid. And every time you upload something at the bottom of DistroKid, it's like, okay, do you want us to put this on Shazam and Siri? Pay extra like $5.
Right.
Do you want to put this for like a lifetime thing? It's like an extra $49. So if you die, they don't take it down if you don't.
Yo, that one is so crazy. They have this thing on DistroKid that says, do you want us to keep your music up for the rest of humanity in case you die? give us $50 and we'll keep your music up even if you die and you stop paying for us to keep it live. And it's just like, that's a morbid decision. You're like, what the fuck?
It's like,
I want that to happen, but like,
right.
I just feel like it's like bad mojo to click that button.
Click that.
Dude.
I've never clicked it. I'm like too scared to click. I'm like, I don't want to think about dying, but like yesterday I was thinking about it. I was like, fuck, like I should start clicking this. I got 2 kids. Like I want them to get this money forever.
Yeah, no, facts. I mean, it's
I got to start clicking. I got to start clicking that.
It's good to have a plan when that's concerned, but
right. But
I never click it, honestly. I say that, but I never click it. I'm like, jeez.
Right. Never.
I'm good off of that, man.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Knock on wood. So what you been up to, dude?
Dude, that's exactly what I was going to ask you, man. I've just been dadding hard.
Yeah, how's that feel, man? You got 2 kids now.
It's a big change because I mean, you were a big part of my life before when I didn't have any kids.
Mm-hmm.
We'd hang out every single day.
Yep.
Be on tour, traveling, going X, Y, and Z, right?
I mean, anyone who's seen me perform in the last 6 years has seen you perform, has met you and I, the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, we were attached to the hip for years, going everywhere.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. We're the tag team duo, dude.
Yeah.
We're the Batch Brothers, shout out to the Mighty Ducks.
Let's go.
So it's been a change. It's been a real big shift in energy. Just what I'm putting my energy into, because a lot of, before it was like, okay, like what are we going to do to, make the next album, find the next show, get away for like a creative retreat. That was our focus for so long. And now like those things come second, right?
Totally.
Which I miss. I love those things. Those are, some of the greatest moments and things in my life. But, there's these 2 little babies that can't do anything for themselves. And I have to teach them all that I know, right? That how I've been successful in life or been able to survive. And I think that's what you realize once you have kids, you kind of realize, how great your parents were if you had parents that were like, very active and in your life.
Totally.
I know there's a lot of different situations in the world, but fortunately for me, I had a dad that just was the man, right? He worked all day, every day. And I knew and I saw like the things he did.
Right.
And I had a mom that was loving, they had their story, their differences. And, mom went through her ups and downs, but I just knew she loved me. So like they're 2 great parents, no matter what. Right. And you realize once you have kids, how amazing they are, right? And how you're like, dang, like they really showed me this blueprint by just doing the things that are needed to make sure that I'm okay, that I'm at school or going to baseball or football practice, and then even more so later on in life when you make decisions kind of like how me and you have made to become like entrepreneurs and artists and take a road that not many travel or are scared to travel, but they just like, go do it. Like I have your back. So it's like, I've just learned lessons from them. And now I have 2 kids that I get to do it with. And it's like, try to instill those things that were instilled in you luckily, if you had great parents like that, you know,
That's really interesting. So it was this newfound appreciation
it's yeah
for what your
for my
parents
parents,
did for
right?
you. Now you're like, okay, I get it.
A
That's
hundred
really
percent.
interesting. It makes
And
sense. It makes sense. Was there also like you said, oh, now I've got these two kids, and so there's immediately like that responsibility shift. Like, do you just feel like you're now second, like your personal needs are
it's
second
second,
to,
1,000%.
yeah.
Which
You think that's like a biological thing that just happens in your brain? You just know
I
it, like,
I think if I don't think it's guaranteed, you know, like because
yeah.
there are situations where that's not the situation.
Oh, there's a lot of shitty people out there that, yeah,
Right.
right,
Exactly. Like if you're a good person at heart, yes, that's 100% what happens the second you see
right, right,
that
right.
baby, because it's different. Like you tell yourself like, I want to be a great parent. I'm a good person. The baby's in the stomach and you're with your significant other and you're like, yeah, this is going to be like amazing. You know, you have those positive outlooks. But the second Victoria gave birth to Jackson, you're like it's instant and it's crazy. Like people tell you like, oh, you'll never know a love like that until you have a kid. But
Right.
it's so true. You see this kid and then like Jackson comes into the world, takes his first breath, and like you just like overwhelming, like start I'm bawling. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm crying.
100%. 100%.
And you don't know why, but you're happy. You know, you're happy. You're just like, how did we create this like perfect human? You know, how do you create that? And like they don't know anything. They have no bad instilled in them. All they know is just like nothing, but what you teach them.
Yeah,
So
that's,
it's
so did you immediately start thinking like, how do I start to set the example and teach
yes,
this
100%.
kid what to do even when
Yes,
he's 2 weeks old?
1,000%. And still to this day, it's like there's things that you're like, when you don't have kids, there's like some days I don't want to do it. I could just do whatever I want. Like I'm a pretty motivated person. I'd like to do things to progress my life, whether it's in music or health or just anything, just like have a productive day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we're human. We're human. So there's always that chance of like, some days you just don't got it, right? Sometimes there's that day where you're just like, oh man, like today's like really getting to me. And you could just turn it off and you don't have anybody else to worry
Yeah,
about.
right,
But
right.
it's a very easy reminder when you look over and you're like, all right, Jackson's, needs a diaper change. He needs a bottle. He needs, he needs some stimulation to his brain. We need to read him a book. We need to get him hitting off the tee. Like these are all things that like I think that like
Right.
as a 1 and almost 3 month old Jackson, and then Cannon's 2 months, almost 3 months. You're like, all right, what could I do to like be a good parent to like make their brain absorb some type of learning,
Well, and
right?
you're just always on the clock, and luckily the two of you can both be on top of that. I just can't imagine how hard it would be to be doing that,
Oh
as a
yeah.
single
And
parent. Shout out to all the single moms out there,
oh
single
man.
dads too. But
And that's the biggest help I would say is like having a partner that does do a lot, right? Victoria does a lot. She helps me out. She helps the kids at all times, and she's a great mom. Having a great mom and you wanting to be a great dad, it makes it much easier because it could be hard, and just having family around, having other family around, like their
yeah,
grandparents, my dad, her mom. My mom's farther away, but whenever she's here, she's just like the biggest help. And that the sense of like having like a whole like tribe pitch in and like love these kids like really helps the situation. But at the end of the day, it comes down to it's on me and Victoria to make the decisions of anything that they're going to do, right?
mm-hmm.
Like we
Yeah.
appreciate
No, I totally feel you. Is it weird that you pretty much had kids? I mean, how old was Jackson when the coronavirus pandemic started? Like,
he was,
Like 6 months?
yeah, maybe 6 months. I think about 6 months, dude. It's the sketchiest, worst, but best thing ever. Like the
Because
amount
you're
of
able to
time I
be at
get to,
home more, maybe? Is that a good thing? Because I imagine if it's like a 5-year-old, it's like, Jesus Christ, like this kid needs to be socializing and going to the park
right.
and hanging out with kids. But when you're a little bit younger than that, it doesn't really matter as much, right? Like,
I mean, you would think so, but so I think it's the
I don't
best
I don't
thing.
have a damn clue. So
Right, right. So I think that it's amazing in the fact the amount of time I get to spend with him, right? And
right.
Cannon,
Yep.
right? Cannon is young. He needs a lot of attending to. So does Jackson. He's running around. He's tall enough. He can open doors now. He's like sign language, speaking Spanish. He's like doing all these things, right? He's growing into a human, his own little human. And I get to be here and see that, right? Which is amazing. But at the same time, it's like there are those times like, my dad comes over. He doesn't get to see him as much because we're in a pandemic, right? So we're worried about like what people are going where. We're trying to figure out, okay, we see you here with a lot of people. Let's maybe not, let's take some time off. So, we're not bringing a bunch of whatever the coronavirus possibly into our house. Right.
Right. Right.
So my dad coming over, sometimes Jackson starts crying, right? Because he's not familiar with him, which is like breaks my heart. I'm just like, I want them to be buddies because my dad loves them,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, in the sense of that, like that's really hard. Not being able to take him around because like now's the age where he's like walking, talking. You can see like when I do take him to my dad's house and there's like other kids there, he loves hanging out with people. He's like is playing with the other kids, but like I want to give him more of those experiences. But right now we can't, like we literally can't do that. And you have to like be super cautious of where you're going, who's going to be there. If there's too many people there, we probably won't go. It's like just having to think about that. Like just, I hate it. I hate
Yeah.
that
I mean, it just adds a
feeling.
whole nother level of complexity when you're just trying
But
to.
it is what it is. It's the situation that we're in. So we have
Yeah,
to be
and everybody's
better.
in it, but yeah, I think everyone's got unique circumstances that they're dealing with, and I think when you have two young kids like that, that's certainly a pretty unique thing with just the way that this whole situation
Right.
has changed the way that we can interact or can't interact with people, and yeah,
Yeah.
not being able to be around family as much, you're not getting as familiar with those people in the early years. It's different.
Right. Right. But it's like I try so hard to be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go out, but I'm gonna stay away from people. But like, I'm gonna take him to the park, right? I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. I'm gonna go on like a 5 mile walk in his stroller. But
Right,
at least
right.
we're outside. We're
Yeah, just
doing
getting them out and
something.
about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like point, like that's a tree, that's a fire truck. Like doing these things, like so he gets some sort of like I'm outside. Like I'm not just like this baby that is raised inside of a house for the first 2 years of his life, which is I would say 90% of what his life has been so far. But I'm just like now that I feel like Cannon, who's my youngest, his immune systems, they say that like 2 to 3 months, their immune system gets a lot stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, all right, we can start going places. Like, let's go outside. Let's try to, but it's still flu season. There's a lot that goes into having kids, man. The more you think about it, it's just like, Joe, you're like, I don't want to be a paranoid Pam though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be paranoid about everything.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I worry about whenever I end up having kids is like, I want to be like, fuck.
And it
'cause-
happens.
Yeah.
But then you got to kind of check yourself. Like, dude, these kids need to live. Like,
No, for sure. For sure. You
eat
got
some
to
dirt,
find that
your
balance.
knee. Right.
It's got to be hard not to just,
It
know
is.
everything and they don't know anything.
No,
So.
anything. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild, but it's amazing, man. I mean, I'm blessed to say the least. These guys are just bring joy that I've never thought I could have into my life. And
Dude, I hear you, man. I hear you. I mean, the whole family that you guys have put together is just fucking awesome. And I've seen the way that it's it's had you kind of step up in your life to go into that next chapter of your life as a man.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so dope, and that's the beauty of the whole thing, like
Backstory of Jackson. Where did I
Yeah.
find out? in your living room.
That's right. Yeah. Literally behind these walls.
Right behind those walls. Victoria called me and was like, guess what? I'm pregnant. And I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
I was out of town. I wasn't even here when that happened.
It was wild. And I just packed up, got everything, and headed back to the bay. I was like, you know what?
That's
Back
what
to
you
the
do.
mainland, back to the soil. Let's get it.
Loyal to the soil, man.
You got to stay loyal to the soil.
Do you, obviously we haven't been on the road in a long time because of the pandemic situation. How are you adjusting to the fact that you're just in one place? Because you weren't just touring with me, you were DJing with Swayze and DJing with other people and doing your own shows, and
right,
you were on the road more than me because you weren't just doing shit with me, you were doing shit with a lot of people.
Right.
So that's a real drastic lifestyle shift.
That's I try to explain it to some people when they ask. They're like, you're back home. Like we everybody from my hometown,
right,
the Bay Area, we're so used to seeing me on an airplane every week, right? They're like, oh, where's Bllaine going? Where is he at? What's he doing? And then when I'm back home, they're like, you're back? And I'm like, yeah, I have kids now. They're like, oh yeah. And it's a pandemic. So it's not the fact, like, if the pandemic didn't happen, I would still probably be going places, right?
Right.
I'd
here
still
and there.
be flying.
Yeah, right.
Fly,
hop come out, back.
Do the show, come back. It would be less like, all right, me and Shui go to the Bahamas. Oh, we're gonna stay extra week. We usually do.
Right.
That wouldn't happen. We'd go do the 2-3 shows, and I'd be back home, right? Or if me and you went to Houston and be like, oh, we have a friend there, like stay an extra couple nights. Probably wouldn't happen, right?
Yeah,
I'd come straight back. But that's what comes with it. But it's been hard, man. It's been hard, and I've just tapped back into who I was before. 6-7 years ago when I first started touring and doing shows and on the bus and doing those things. Like I tapped back into, I still need to get money because my main stream of income was touring. Right?
Yeah, right.
On the road, traveling, doing shows, getting paid to do shows, helping tour manage and do all these different hats that I'd wear for people like you and Swayze, right? And that was my main source of income. Pandemic takes that rug out from underneath my feet. And it's like, all right, pivot. You're a man. You have 2 kids. What are you going to do? All right, let's start working with my hands. Dude, I went, my dad has connections. He's a real beloved guy in the community. A lot of people love him. He does a lot of work for people. We used to pour concrete when I was a kid, so he had some jobs and I'm like, all right, I'm pouring concrete. Back to when I was, 13, I used to go to work and work with him and do that. So, I'm gonna help Pops out pour concrete. Through that, some of his friends are like, I'm doing flooring. All right, fuck it. Whatever I got to do to put
You're
food
like,
on the
come
table,
on, let's do it. Yeah.
Let's go. And then I come home at night and then record songs and then release, tracks, try to release, get in this groove of still releasing music to stay in this life that I've been in for 10 plus years. Right.
Right.
But at the same time, it's though those numbers for me, they're not, the craziest numbers in the world, but those numbers I could feed myself. Right now there's 3 other people I need to provide for. And that's just a moment where I was like, all right, so I can still do this. I'm not going to give up what I've built for 10 years in the entertainment industry. Right. I'm not going to give that up, but I'm also going to go to what I know and what I know how to do. And it's work hard and put me, you need me to lay bricks, I'll lay a brick and then I'll come home and do music. And I think that's what, gets me through the pandemic is being able to build basically
literally
being able to build
right.
with my hands, and with other people. And it's worked out, man. It's a pivot. It's not the plan, but when is anything the plan?
Well, I think that's the biggest thing about this whole situation of the last year is there's not a single person in this world that, unless you're living in fucking Australia where everything's totally fine, there's not a single person who hasn't had a significant change in their whole entire life, whether it's a situation like you or me. I'm doing this podcast now. I'm here in this room every single day now doing this.
Right.
In this, I built out this whole studio. Like, I've been wanting to do something like this for a minute, but I don't know that I would have in this way if it weren't for the situation that we're in. And that's what we got to do as humans. We just got to fucking adapt, right? Like, we got to
figure it out, find a way.
There's no, it's tough for every single person in different ways. And some people have it tougher than others. Some people have lost, people. You and I have lost people. A lot of our friends have lost people. Like, this shit fucking sucks. But
exactly,
we're human beings and we have to make money and put food on the table and exist and thrive still. And thriving
and be happy at most,
be
try
happy,
to be sane.
thrive. Those are relative terms, though. I think that's what people need to understand, is that it's a relative term. And so things that you can't control, like the circumstances we're in right now, those aren't even worth thinking about, because that's just the cards that you're dealt. But being able to thrive in that situation relative to the cards that you're dealt is always doable. And at the end of the day, thriving right now doesn't look like thriving in a normal world where we can fucking go on vacation and do whatever and hang out and be together with people. But you still have to make it work. And it's just a mentality shift, It's
100% a mentality shift. And it's just keeping that positive outlook. I think I was talking to this with Victoria last night. Like, things aren't the way that, we plan them to be. But seeing, sometimes the tunnel could get dark, right? And you might not be in a place where you want to be. It's kind of scary, but you see that, just know in your brain that there's that light that you could walk towards, right? Keep walking, because you're going to get there. And life is such peaks and valleys. My whole life before the pandemic, and I think everybody in the world can agree with this. Like, you have so many ups and downs in life, and this just might be a little downtime, but you're going to start climbing back up and good things are going to start happening. And then you're going to be on top of that mountain again. And you're going to be like, man, how grateful am I for this pandemic, right? I don't think we would ever think at this moment right now that we're going to be grateful, say that you're grateful for a pandemic. Dude. But at some point in the future, and hopefully the near future, we're going to say, I was grateful for that time,
Actually looking at this and being like, not thankful is not the right word, but just, we're going to be more appreciative of life in general after this shit is over, because
right. And
what the fuck do you have to complain about after this shit is over?
Thankful is not the word.
No, it's not thankful. But if you're fucking dealing with this shit right now and you lost a family member, or you got it yourself, or whatever the fuck happened, some collateral damage because of all the fucked up shit that's going on.
Right.
After the fact, 3 years from now, 2024, I think we're going to be in a good headspace in the world.
Yeah, it's just going to be a lot more appreciation for the little things,
Yeah, because people go through shit, like generations have problems, and we haven't had a problem for a long fucking time.
Right.
And so it's kind of made all of us a little bit detached from the reality that, like, life can be really fucking hard.
Seriously.
Our parents and our grandparents' generation had tough times, wars, and we didn't have a fucking war. We just had a virus, and it's a horrible virus and a horrible situation. But I do think that it's going to change collectively our perspective a little bit on the tail end of this. We may come out a little bit more appreciative, which is that's a silver lining.
Exactly.
That's a silver lining.
Right. I mean, it's like, what can you do? What can you do but try to be positive through it all, through, the losses of family members, through getting sick, through, literally being on lockdown in your house. What can you do but try to mentally keep yourself happy and positive and sane? Because I know majority of us has gone through a shitty year, right?
Right.
But it's just, how do you find, like you said, the silver lining and get up and have that positivity in your brain to keep you healthy mentally? Because mental health is a real thing,
Totally.
I'm someone who really tries to be a positive person, a positive light in all my friends' lives and family's lives. You know, there's those, like they say sometimes, like, you know, the toughest people check on them, right?
Yeah, right.
Which we got to, because I could say, as happy as I, you know, put out to be and try to be and come off as, sometimes I'm going through it, you know, but it's because you're just trying to be positive and get through the shitty days, because we all have them. We all have them, but we're going to be all right. As long as you don't give up on yourself and you got people around you, you should be okay.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I know that, you know, having that positive mentality is something that is like, you know, I think some people just have it. It's like kind of like a genetic thing. You just try and just make the best of situations. It's a really good quality to have, but that doesn't stop you from being human and still having difficult, you know, feelings that you need to work through. And I think those people, and you're one of those people who are like that, those people don't get checked on, because it's not clear to all the people around, you know, anyone, that, you know, you got to tap in and say, you know, how are you doing? You
like,
know,
honestly, how are you doing? Like,
right? Like, what's up? You know,
yeah, like I get you're happy all the time.
Yeah, let's just you know, let's keep it real a little bit.
Right. And
I think, yeah,
I was just gonna say, I think that's kind of like, I've always been a positive person, but I haven't had to worry about anybody but myself before. So like now I'm kind of like in that headspace where I'm like, am I all right sometimes? You know,
right.
like I can be a little more truthful with myself, because I can't just up and go and do something to like take my mind off whatever I'm tripping off of, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that's why a lot of people are kind of fucking losing it,
For sure.
in this pandemic, dude. Like there's a lot of people who cannot function unless they're able to go fucking drink three nights a week and party and get all the stress off that they had built up. And I think we're seeing from this situation that is kind of mental illness that's being masked by, you know,
Right.
going out and doing these things, or substance abuse, whatever it is. And that's, you know,
I feel I was a little ahead of the trend before the pandemic, where I was like stopping drinking and stopping like smoking and doing those things.
yeah,
So it's like I was able to get used to it without having to be an extreme, you know?
right.
I was able to get used to it without having like this extreme situation that made me like not be able to do anything, right?
Yeah.
But what has gotten to me, I think, in these times is like being able to see my friends. Like that's such like an important thing in my life, and I'm sure a lot of other people can agree. Like your community, your support system, not being able to like physically go and hang out with you, go and physically hang out with my boys that are like down the street, or like just go golf with them, you know?
Right.
Like,
Right.
that because you're worried about the pandemic, especially with me having 2 kids. Like, you got to be extra cautious. You don't want to get them sick. You don't know, you know, there's a lot of people have older parents, and you don't want to, you know, bring it into there. So like, you always have to be conscious of the situation at hand. And that, like, I miss that more than anything, is being with my friends.
Yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you. I miss it too. I don't even know, like, it almost doesn't even, I don't even remember what that shit is like at this point.
It's so,
You know?
it's the worst, but you know,
yeah.
what, you know, we're just going to be, like we said, we're going to be grateful for the chance when we can dap up and be like, yo, what's good, bro? Let's go to Dan Tana's.
Yeah. I think we're going to be grateful. I think we're going to fucking go back into it. Just, you know, not necessarily us, but just like all of us as humans, we're just going to get right back into it and just want to, you know, not right away. I don't think this is going to happen in 2021, maybe not even 2022. Right. But once this shit is really figured out and we've like got people vaccinated, or we just figure out how we're living with this virus for the next rest of our lives.
Right.
The risk aversion that's been taking place right now, people not wanting to do stuff, that shit's going to be gone. And people are like, all right, I'm trying to do some shit now. Let me make up for these 3 fucking years where I was just like sitting around, you know, doing whatever.
And there's a positive in kind of like we were saying before, in the situation that kind of like me and you are pivoting in the situation, right? Because like we could have totally been like, yeah, this is gonna be over in 3 years. Let's just wait around and wait for it to end.
Yeah.
Or you could do what you've done, create this podcast, right? Now it's a whole other platform that you have and you could use and shed light and do all the things that you want to do, because I've known you for a long time and I know your brain and how it works and, you know, the intelligence that runs through it, right? And in music, you could show it, but in talking, you could really express it in the episodes that you have put out already. I see it, you know, the person that I hang out with every single day is shining through. And like, especially in the last one that you just dropped, you could really see the intelligence behind the human that you are, which is amazing. I think that this podcast has done for you. And the pivot that I've been doing is shooting and filming YouTube videos that I've done here and there. But like now it's like,
now you're going all in.
I have so much time to do it that like I could, you know, film these vlogs and like release one a week and like create it as like an actual TV show, which I've always wanted to be. It's like Bllaine TV, but like I would stop after like 3 episodes, you know?
Yep. No, I appreciate you saying that, man. I think that on the one hand, I would be going fucking crazy if I wasn't doing these podcasts.
Right.
Because it gives me so much life right now to plan these out, and having built out this studio and got everything ready, it was such a, you know, when you are fucking not sure what to do, if you work on a project, like, I don't care if it's fucking redoing your kitchen cabinets or some shit like that. Like, just putting your mind and your body towards something is the most productive thing you can do. Cleaning your fucking house, whatever it is, you know?
That is so important. I'm so glad you hit on that, because that doing something and to not think about the far future so much, right?
Yeah, you just gotta be present. Yeah. And I have a tough time with that. Like, I was not in that headspace, and getting this off the ground took me months of planning before I launched the first episode.
Right.
Was that thing that was tangible that I could work on, that gave me that structure that I lacked from this whole pandemic situation. Right. And now it's making me feel more confident and better about making new music and doing the things that I'm always doing, that I was having a tough time doing, because your dynamic changes.
Right.
And so it's like, how do you get creative and do the same shit that you used to be on?
Right. And give you that motivational spark to want to get in there and create a new album or a couple songs, whatever it is. But
and I just thought, like, you know me, and I just like to talk shit about a lot of different things. And, you know, as you know, I got it from my dad, just being very interested in a lot of random topics that don't necessarily pertain to my life, but I'm just interested in them because I like knowledge.
And you're informed. The thing is like, you're well informed on what you're talking about. So, you know, there's a lot of people that can just talk, but like they're not informed, and like the facts don't really have it, but you gather the facts and have them stored away in your brain somehow, these like facts about so many different topics, which is why I feel that this podcast is really just like a sliver of knowledge on the internet that it needed. You know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate that. I watch a lot of like Wendover Productions videos and shit like that, and I just get a lot of useless knowledge that I really enjoy. But you know, that side of my life was something that was a personal thing for me for a long time. And my music is my creative side and how I express myself, and that's me 100%. But there's, you know, all of us are complex humans, and you don't get to fully understand somebody unless you are talking a lot. You know?
Exactly.
And I'm excited to just be building that kind of rapport with people who are listening to this, and you know, it's also fun to start something new that I'm growing from scratch, that feels like what I did when I started doing music. Right. You know, and when I started doing music, I was 17 years old doing that kind of shit, just figuring out how to make 2 people listen to something, then 4, then 8, then 16, then 32, you know? Yeah. And that's the same thing with rolling out this podcast. And it's fun, dude. Like, I'm getting a lot of excitement seeing 100 views or 200 views, and like I'm about to hit, you know, 100 people following the podcast on Spotify, and I'm like, that's fucking dope. And so that's just a lot of what's been driving me lately with the podcast. And again, once you have your mind like working on something like that, it benefits all the other stuff that you're doing too. And so I'm feeling better about the new music that I'm going to be making and putting out and everything like that too.
And that's what we like with the things that you're doing creatively here is going to benefit your music creatively, right?
Right.
It's going to benefit just your life in general. And like, it's just doing, it's another platform to where somebody that may have never gone and listened to a Cam Meekins song, right? Because maybe they like country music, right? Someone may have never listened to a Cam Meekins song because that's just not their genre of music. But now they stumble upon your podcast because it popped up underneath Joe Rogan, right? And it was the next one in line. And they get excited. And then they're like, oh, well, I'll watch this because that's what happens when you watch YouTube, And then they'll watch you and then they're like, dang, I really like this person. Oh, he's a musician. Boom. Now you just got a new fan that you would have never had because they're a fan of the podcast of Cam Meekins, right?
Right.
It opens up a whole nother lane, and it's just super sick to see. And I'm glad to be a part of the early stages of everything Cam Meekins.
I mean, dude, you just been my dog since day one, man. I mean, there's not a more fucking real person than you, loyal person who's just fucking about the team effort, man. Like you are such a like team mentality person, and I imagine that's because you grew up playing sports
for sure
for so long, and you're just such a leader, dude. And it's just fucking awesome having someone who's like my best friend and also someone I've worked with and all the stuff that I've done my whole entire career pretty much.
Yeah.
That shit has always just been so motivating to just have that person that's, working with you, kind of helping you get through all those ideas and helping with the actual tangible things of going on the road and physically doing all these different things, and building these experiences. And we have so many shared life experiences from the 48 states that we've been to, literally, and 10 tours that we've done, opening for huge artists, doing whatever. And that's just it's been fun, man. But yeah, with the podcast, I'm just like, I just can't do one thing, like I gotta like have a couple things going on.
Right.
Because that's just how my brain works,
100%.
And I don't think you can do that too much. Like you can't like spread yourself too thin across like multiple different areas. And I've made that mistake a lot in my career, and just in my life. But for me, I know that like I do have to stimulate myself that way too, a little bit,
For sure. No, and this works out with that. I think this it's not too off the topic, and you would be having these conversations whether it was on the microphone or not, right?
Right.
Which is why it comes across naturally at one, which is what every podcast needs. And two, it's just like, you're going to be talking about this stuff, and it is, information that a lot of the conversations that you've had already on the podcast and that you're going to have are information that other people need, and specifically me, I want, so it's a great new thing that you have started in my perspective. You know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate that, man. I'm just trying to fucking figure it out, like all of us.
Are we all?
I'm just having fun, But yeah, I when I did that interview with Dr. Ja, I was like, he's fucking dean of Brown University, one of the best universities in the world. Super fucking.
Can I? Did you ask him for our check?
From the dude? That's actually so funny. I should have told him that story, dude.
Yo, so should we tell the story before what you're getting into?
Yeah, 100%. So we did a show in Providence, Rhode Island, where Brown University is. Years ago, and we're leaving the show and we're driving in my car, and I'm not driving, I'm sitting in shotgun, and our boy Saeed is driving, and it was he was driving, right?
Yeah.
And
me and Beeville were in the back.
Yeah, we're in the car, and it's a snowstorm because we're in fucking basically Boston.
Was Kyle DJ there, aka Kyle B?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Was he in the back seat with me and Bevo?
Yeah. And Beeville was on the window,
Yes.
and Beeville was fucking shattered.
Yo, he was hammered. He was
Our boy, who was my DJ at the time, shout out to my guy Beeville. He was in the back seat, like blackout drunk, because he didn't even do the show that night, dude, because he was so fucked up. Didn't you end up DJing? Is that what happened? Like, and that was before you were on your DJing shit.
Yeah. I think I ended up I possibly ended up DJing. I think I did, yeah.
Yeah. You were DJing the set and coming back on stage and performing with me.
Right. Yeah, I was performing with
because
you.
there was like a small club,
right,
and it was a dope show. It was like sold out in this small ass venue, and the way that it was set up was the computer for the DJ shit was over here behind like a desk, not attached to the stage. And so you would run from there onto the stage and play a song, and then go back, play the next song, come back. And that's because my actual fucking DJ was in the back, passed out, drunk, before the show even started. So that just gives you a sense of what the night was like. And so we leave the show, and I'm in my car in shotgun, Blaine's in the back. Our boy Saeed is driving, and snowstorm. We get to a 4-way stop, and we stop, right? What do you think happens?
So it wasn't a 4-way stop. We had
he thought it was we had the right of way.
So it wasn't a 4-way stop. It was a street that goes through, right?
And then the perpendicular one had a stop sign. Yeah.
Those had stop signs, right? Exactly. And as we're just driving through, normally how you're supposed to,
right?
Out of nowhere, this brown university shuttle bus T-bones us, literally blows up.
Just fucking smacks the car, dude.
Like one of the craziest
smacks
accidents.
the left side of the car.
Yeah.
And this dude Beeville's head is on the fucking window.
Yeah.
I love Beeville, man. I miss that dude. I love Beeville. So we're not clowning Beeville. We're just telling this story. But Beeville was like asleep, and his head was on the fucking window, and the window fucking shattered on his head, and he was like bleeding.
And you had the airbags that came down.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So his head was on the other side of the airbags. I think in the middle or on the other side, and I look over after we got hit, and all I see is Beeville from the neck down. I thought Beeville lost his full-on head.
Oh my god.
Terrifying,
dude.
But at the end of the day, what I was trying to say is we're so hyped and we love doing music so much that instead of saying we got T-boned by a fucking Brown University bus, we're like, yo, cops, we don't want to deal with any of this. We got to get to the next show.
Yeah. No, so literally the cops pulled up, and they're like, what the fuck happened here? Like, dude, this brown school bus just absolutely smacked us and ran the stop sign.
Yeah.
And we end up hanging out with that cop for like 2 hours in the freezing cold, get in his car, and he's telling us stories about how like him and his boys fuck around as cops and like go to the parking lot and just like dick around and all this shit. And he was suspended for 6 months because I'm like, Jesus Christ. But he was a really nice dude. And so he ended up calling us a cab, and we take a cab back to Boston, and the car gets fucking towed. And we're like, fuck it, we got to go to Pennsylvania tomorrow. And I didn't even figure out what the fuck was going on with my car for like 2 months, dude. Progressives calling me on the road, I'm trying to coordinate.
I ain't got time.
I'm trying to coordinate getting the car to a fucking place to get it fixed.
Right.
Dude, it was that was a wild time.
And then the cab driver that picked us up was just
that dude was nuts.
I got off the rocker.
Yeah, that dude was nuts. But that's the thing, man. When you're on the road like that, you're just in a different headspace. You're just like, I gotta get to the next
show, and it all goes by so fast.
Yeah.
And like those memories, like literally, like I always think about like when I'm older, you know, am I gonna be able to tap into these memories? Because we have so many memories of being on the road and doing all these things that we've done.
Right.
I need like a spark of, you know, the professor. He's a professor, right?
Yep.
At Brown. I need you to talk and say
he's
the
the
word
dean.
Brown.
He's the dean of the School of Public Health. Yeah.
So he's the dean. And I need that. Oh, the dean of Brown University, and then boom, that gives me a spark of that memory, that crazy memory of us almost dying from a Brown University bus.
Isn't that weird how just one little thing will trigger the memory? I think the way the memories work is like the more you remember something, the more clear the memory is, obviously. But we're not really remembering it correctly every time. Our brain is just recreating using our imagination what we think happened. And that's why eyewitness accounts are so unreliable in court for crime and shit like that, because 10 people are seeing 10 different things and they're remembering it 10 different ways because they're not actually remembering anything. Nothing is stored in your brain. It's just a bunch of little things, bits and pieces connected together that you're recreating and using your imagination and pulling on some things that you kind of are storing in different ways.
Right.
But, you know, the more you remember a story, the more you will have it in your head. But if you don't talk about it, that shit's out the window, you know, 10 years from now. But what's dope is now we have, you know, YouTube and Instagram and all that shit. So, I mean, we're going to be able to show our you know, well, you have kids, but we're going to be able to show our kids, you know, look at this from 2012. I was doing this shit, you know?
That's like that's something that I loved that we did. It was the series of videos for, I think it was the Mike Stud tour.
Yep.
And we have all of those videos. What is it? The true crime? We'd always.
I don't even remember what you're talking about. What was this?
So what's the dun dun?
Oh, Law and Order.
Law and Order.
Oh yeah.
Whole tour, just dun dun.
Yeah, we were doing like the Law and Order random fucking tour videos.
I remember being in one of the greatest cities in America that no one knows.
Which is?
Iowa.
Oh, dude, Iowa City. Iowa City is the fucking one of the dopest places in America.
You would never know. People always ask me like, "Oh, what's your favorite city?" Like
Blue Moose. What's the name of that venue? Blue Moose Tavern?
I think so. Yeah. And like that venue, every time we go there, that was one of the first times we like broed out on the Swayze tour.
Like when me and you first met each other?
Yeah, when we first met with each other, we met in Rhode Island, right? Yep. And then we ended up going to one of the stops on the tour was Iowa, Iowa State University.
Yep.
And me and you woke up early in the morning.
Yeah.
Got coffee, and then we went and sat in on a biology class. And we're in there, and we're just like probably smell like reeking of loud, just
dude.
Like it's the morning, and all these kids are like, "Who the hell? Oh, that's Cam Meekins."
Yo, and we were like asking questions too. We were like, oh,
the Bllaine and Cam Meekins go to college. That was always our
no, literally
our never made show that we should have made.
Yeah, you can make a lot of reality TV shows like that, man. Right. I don't know. That's actually so true, though. Why wasn't there? I guess Mike Stud did a reality TV show on the road.
Yeah, he did.
So never mind. That was but like, and then it was actually on a network for a little bit, right?
Yeah, it was on Esquire. It's pretty legendary.
Yeah, right. Did that used to be Spike? Is that what it was, or no?
I don't know. I think Esquire is like
that's its own thing.
Sister company of E.
Okay, I got you.
I believe so.
Yeah, man. Iowa City is fucking dope.
It's a great place. And that's another memory that just sticks in my mind is just being shattered. You know how you can get on top of the roof?
Mm-hmm.
And then remember we went out and drank with like Mike, Foley, this DJ. What was this DJ's name again?
Blue.
Not Blue.
Fader.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
great.
He's the man.
Whole group is just an amazing group of guys. But we go out and we get shattered. Remember that guy was like just being a creep on hella girls, like touching them, being a weirdo. And I drag him out of the bar. Fucking touch girls. No, fucking no.
Oh my God, dude.
Drag him out and I'm shattered. So like take that guy out. And I think me and Fader were, just like handling it, like bouncing the guy because we're just trying to have a good time inside. So we bounced him out. And I remember me and Matt, was it Del P? I think we're walking like back, kind of like behind the back roads in the venue. And somehow I think I'm like playing some YG song. I'm just on one, right? And out of nowhere, I'm face first in a puddle, fucking Del P's looking back like, Bllaine, what happened? What happened? And I remember coming back to the hotel just in like puddle water out of nowhere because I was just shattered from the show at Iowa City or Iowa
So
State.
you just fell in the mud?
I just fell in the mud. And I it sticks in my mind clearly. I just fell in a huge puddle in Iowa City because I was having too much fun.
You know, sometimes that's gonna happen. Sometimes you're just having too much fun and you got to fucking face plant in some mud, dude.
Yeah.
You were really kind of tour manager, tour DJ, designated driver, and tour security.
Yeah, right.
Because one time we had a show in LA at what's the name of that venue in Silver Lake that was sold out. It was that dope show.
I forget.
Well, it was in Silver Lake. And after the show, they had some shit. It was like an 11 o'clock curfew. And, you know, usually when I don't know if we'll still do this after COVID, but what we used to do was after the show, we would do the just have everybody just tap in and just do like a meet and greet or whatever. And so they were closing at 11. So they're like, you can't do the meet and greet here. You can't do the meet and greet here. I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck? You know? But, you know, it is what it is. So we were like, all right, fuck it. And sorry if you hear some noise. There's a garbage truck outside my house. And if you need to do something, it's all good. We can pause.
I just saw Jackson. He just walked in here.
Bring him on, dude.
Fine.
Unless you don't want him on the YouTubes, but
He's already on my YouTube.
he's already on your channel. So what's up, young Jackson?
Say what's up. Say what's up, Uncle Ken. He's like, what is going on? But go ahead with that. So we're outside.
So anyways, we're outside and we're doing this meet and greet and a bunch of people are coming up and, you know, we're signing stuff and just talking to a bunch of people. And there's this sketchy dude who, you know, pulls up on the car. My brother was driving the car because he was on the road with us. And he pulls up in the car and he tries to get inside the car and grab my brother by the neck. And he's like, this guy was clearly intoxicated, messed up.
Yeah.
And he was trying to attack my brother. And I'm over here talking to a bunch of people. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Blaine's nowhere to be seen, like not in the vicinity at all. Out of nowhere, this dude Bllaine just full on, like middle linebacker tackles this dude to the ground. And is like, what the are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, there was a lot of moments like that.
No, exactly.
Which was nothing confrontational. It was purely just protection type of shit.
Right. It was just what we had to do in the moment. So your brother wasn't getting shanked by some crazy dude.
Well, and that's the thing with being on the road and stuff, you know, it's not, you got to be careful, you know, because you're multiplying your chances of something crazy happening like by 20, because normally you're just in one place doing one thing and all is good. But when you're on the road, you're driving thousands of miles a week, going to different cities, new people. I mean, the risk of something going wrong is significant. So you gotta be on top of shit. You gotta be on top of it
at all times, and
you gotta be careful, you know. And I think that's why you and I and like our team, like the way that we always have just done things and operated, we've been successful and just had like never had any problems because you know, life is fun. You have to have fun, but you also have to be serious and have a plan too, and be professional.
And that's the thing. And that's what a lot of people don't see behind the scenes, right?
Right.
They don't see the grind and the business aspect that goes into it. They see us turning up on stage for an hour, right?
Right.
And then they see the videos and they see these things, which is another reason why I think this podcast is a great thing, because you see true conversations and people.
Yeah, you get behind the scenes, yeah.
In their intellect. But yeah, that's what like being on the road. You know, you could see, oh, Bllaine is just this turn up guy who's just, you know, back then long ass hair going dumb right on stage. That's who he is. But you don't see like the hours and the planning and the grind that goes into being a touring artist.
Yeah. Making sure you're making money each night.
Right.
You know,
into the hotel,
The
making
logistics of figuring out the hotels en route with the right pricing and, getting enough, the whole thing.
So it's for anybody that wants to be an artist, go get it, go do it, but just know that having a business mentality and crossing your T's and dotting your I's and being a smart person on the road is a huge key to being successful in the music industry, especially being an independent label and artist yourself.
100%. There's a lot of fun elements of being on the road and doing music live and doing shows, and there's a lot of time to have fun and do all that, but you also have to remember that what you're doing is trying to promote your music and promote your personal brand, and so everything that you do is a reflection of that. And so you should be having fun and doing things, but you also gotta be serious too and not be a fucking dick like so many people are. They think that they're just the coolest person in the world, and nobody ever benefits from that, man.
Ever. And
I'm just so grateful that the shows that I've been able to do. Are we selling out 5,000 people arenas? No, but we've had so many shows with hundreds of people sold out, and I'm forever grateful for being able to do that. Whether I never do another show ever again, which I pray to God is not the case. We'll be doing shows.
Exactly.
But I'm forever grateful for being able to do that and just have a genuine connection with all those people over live music. It's a beautiful thing, and it's one of the best things in the world. And again, something that's been really hard with this whole pandemic situation is not having that.
Right.
And it's just not the same doing it over Zoom. Like these podcasts and shit, we can do this over Zoom.
Right, but a show, no.
But you can't do a show as good over Zoom because the show is about the environment.
Exactly.
It's about
the feeling.
How you're feeling. Just going into the venue and, going into the gross fucking back of the stage, and it just being like humid in there and just fucking, just crazy.
Sound checking with the grumpy engineer, the grumpy sound guy, but you got to win him over, so he does the lights too.
Yeah, by the end of the night, he's fucking with you super tough. But when you first got there, he's like, "You guys are fucking 10 minutes late."
Yeah, right, exactly. So, like, dude, we just drove from Wisconsin to Oregon. Sorry, Oh man, I just can't wait to get back to it and to just frankly do it until we're just old guys.
Yeah, man.
I hope to God that we're able to do the things that we've been blessed to be able to do, like till we're old. Like Willie Nelson is still touring.
Yeah, no, facts. I mean, a lot of those dudes are still getting after it, dude.
Like Snoop Dogg still goes and does shows. It's just a cool thing to think about, Like there's a possibility that we could do that because we've been fortunate and worked hard to get to where we are. Right. And I think about that sometimes in the future. I'm like, that'd be pretty sick to be like gray head, gray beard Bllaine, just still going.
I'm definitely trying to be on that wavelength for sure. And I'm never gonna stop making music, that's for sure.
Right.
Because that's
it's who you are, man.
The therapy for me,
It's who you are as a person.
That's where I can express some things that I have not figured out how to express in any other way.
Right.
And I think that's what's so cool about art in general.
100%.
Is there's something weird about art that allows us to like find this voice that's not our normal voice, and things can be expressed so much clearer.
Right.
And unfiltered,
100%.
So I can't wait to get back out there, dude.
All right. Shout out to Rap for giving the platform.
Shout out, man.
Rap doesn't get a shout out too often. It needs more shout outs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just rap as an art,
Facts. I mean, it's the most important art form of our generation, without a doubt. I mean, it's the most, popularly relevant thing in the world at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What's it been like switching up and getting into doing YouTube videos, dude?
It's, I'm like you know, but other people that are gonna be watching this don't know. I'm one of the type of people that will go down a rabbit hole, right?
Right.
And learn and figure out, like how probably the same way you did music, how I did music, right? All right, this is how you do it. You got to get this, got to go get that, get this to make it quality. So it's like, all right, if I'm going to start doing YouTube videos, I want to not have to worry about somebody else editing my video, because there's too many times where I've like been like waiting on a video, right? And it's out of my hands because I didn't have the software on my computer or whatever it is, but it's like, I want to get it out on this day, but it can't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
After trial and error, shout out to anybody that's ever helped me do any type of, creative thing. So I appreciate them for doing it in the past, but now it's like, okay, it's the same thing with music. I'm able to release music whenever I want because I have all of the software, all of the hardware, the computer, the microphone, the interface. And that's the same thing with now YouTube. That was the first thing. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get the lighting. I'm gonna get the Final Cut Pro because that's the software that I've used before. And it's easy for me to just tap back into and edit a video. I'm gonna get a Ronin camera, how whatever you personally want, and those are things that I got. And I'm like, I'm gonna just fully submerge myself into being able to do it myself. And it's been amazing because it like you're saying, in this time, it gives me something to do.
Yeah, something to learn, right?
Something to learn. Like Victoria, she'll like the first day I got all the things and started filming, right? For like a week, I was just every breaking second just at my computer, like editing a new video. And I'm like, all right, I need to take 2 seconds off because, I have to be a dad and,
Yeah, right.
a lover as well, So I'm submerging myself in this thing, but that's old. That's Bllaine before having a family.
Sure.
Like I just get stuck in it. So like I just been having a good time doing that. And it's like I get to do things like with my family, and that's what I'm trying to kind of do on my YouTube channel now. Like I'll shoot music videos and stuff too, but like I want to like do experiences like like the last one I dropped was with my dad. The first one I dropped was like me and Victoria making these hot wings in the kitchen because I got her the Ninja Foodie air fryer that everybody's ranting and raving about.
Yep.
It's just more of a I'm spending quality time with the people I want to spend it with, and I get to film it and have it forever, and it's kind of cool. And it's
well, it's like we were talking about, dude. You mean when you're doing these videos and you're doing it with Victoria, the kids are coming in, whatever,
right?
Doing it with your dad, you can look back on those, and that's just the way to do it right now. Is just create stuff and put it out. Don't worry about the results. Don't worry about anything. Just create stuff with your people and do it yourself
because you want
put
to.
It out.
Yeah. Because you enjoy doing it. Like going to the hot sauce store in San Francisco with Victoria and her sister was like just one of the most fun times we had in recent memory. A, because we've been stuck in the house, but B, because we're out and about and we're doing things, and you're not sitting here daunting like, oh my God, like we're stuck in the house, like we can't go anywhere. Your brain now starts to think of like, oh, like what can we do to like shoot a YouTube video,
right,
and get out of the house and not be stuck in this kind of like pandemic depression, like where you're just, oh, we can't go anywhere. Obviously be careful, but it's like we're doing, you're doing things, you're not like tripping off of just being stuck in the house.
Of course.
But
I'm excited to see where it goes for you, man, because I think that this situation you have, being at home, having all the tools, having your family around you, I think you can just create and just enjoy the process, and also just make captivating, great content because of it.
Right.
And that's exciting, man. I'm excited to see how that continues to go for you, dude. And I'll definitely make sure that I link your channel in this video and let everybody know what you're on, and
tap in, come enjoy the ride with us.
By the time this comes out, the wing challenge, all that stuff will
Right.
be out.
Yeah.
You know.
Wing challenge
So-
is out. I think the wing challenge actually came out today.
There you go.
So when you watch this, go tap in and go
Exactly.
watch that.
Exactly.
It's 6
What was it like eating a fucking 6 million Scoville wing, dude?
Bro, that's
like 4 times as much as the fucking top one on Hot Ones.
Hot Ones. Right. So the one on Hot Ones is 2 million, maybe 2.5, I believe. It's around there, which is just ridiculous in its own right, right? I tried. When you watch the video, you're going to be like, how is my dad just cold as ice, right?
I think his fucking mouth is laced with fucking concrete, dude. I think that's what it is that he's been pouring fucking concrete for so long, and he's just been breathing in the dust that it's just created this layer through his sinuses of just fucking just full on asphalt concrete.
Yo, and I was just like in the video, I'm like, dude, this guy's a cowboy. He just is unfazed, and he's always been that guy that like bites into peppers, bro.
Yeah,
I was like dizzy. I ate it and I was like sweating, like I couldn't think. Like I literally could not think.
Right.
So overwhelming. It was so overwhelming, and then it didn't make it any better that my dad's sticking his finger in the. So I put it onto like the cutting board, and like because the guy said, if you put more than 3, every other wing we did, I tossed it in it, right? You know.
Right.
The last dab, basically, of ours was called Flatline from the Pepper Palace in San Francisco. You can't toss the wing in. He said you'd physically die. He said, like, if you put more than 3 dabs.
What?
Yeah.
How can they sell that?
I had to sign a waiver.
Now that's a good hype up for the video, man.
Right.
Did you put that in the video? Signing the fucking waiver?
Yeah. So I have it's like a 3-part series basically of the wing thing. So it's us getting the wing fryer, making our first batch, and then me coming up with the idea in my head in that video, and then the next video you have to watch is us going to the Pepper Palace, buying the thing, and it's me signing the waiver and buying this deadly hot sauce. And then the fourth one is the long episode of me and my dad eating all the flavors that I bought, and the last one being the deadly hot sauce.
Unreal.
It you had to sign off a waiver, which just goes to show. And he's like, dude, like the guy there is a hot sauce expert, right?
Yeah.
And he's just like, dude, I've never experienced anything like this. He's tried everything on Hot Ones. He's tried all of them, and he just says
that one's different.
Yeah, he's like the bomb, which is one of the main ones on Hot Ones. He says like the grossest thing in the world. But the last dab that they have, he's like, it's a very tasty, hot, but very tasty with like mustard undertones. He said he likes the hot sauce, but it's very hot. He's like, but the one that I had and that I ate in the video, that if you want to go watch, you can.
Right.
Was the worst thing that he's ever experienced, and I could wholeheartedly say he was not lying.
Could you taste anything, or is it just
the thing about it is the hot sauces they make there are phenomenal. So like it did kind of taste good. Like when you open it, you look at it, dude, it looks like blood.
Is it one of those things where it's like it hits you after the fact?
Yes. So like I ate it and I was like, what? Like I'm fine. I'm all right. And then I sat there for a second and then I was like, holy shit, like this is not good. And I'm like, feel like I'm hyperventilating. And then I had to shut off the camera. But then I shut off the camera and I realized this is what the people want to fucking see.
Of course.
I cut the camera back on and it's like
camera's always rolling.
Right. And then I was like, I cut it off like with like the basically setup that me and my dad had sitting there with all the wings lined up. And I just grabbed it in handheld mode, just like getting my reaction of fully dying, like pouring milk in my mouth, like spitting it out. Like I was, dude, it was
unreal.
I don't recommend it to anybody, but I want every single person that comes and is a part of my show to just put it on a chip and eat it. Victoria's little brother did, and he regretted it.
Yeah, you might have to miss me with that one, dude. I like spicy food, but I don't know about that one.
Bro,
when we start doing these in person, you can bring it to here and I'll try it, I guess. But
you got to. You'll enjoy it. It's tasty. It's just hot.
Yeah.
I'm alive.
We'll see. You're alive. That's true.
And that's something that me and you when we were staying together, we We started the hot sauce cabinet, dude.
I mean, I still got a lot of those hot sauces today.
So
We got a great hot sauce collection.
and trust me, sometime in the near future, I'm gonna come out with my own hot sauce. But I just gotta figure out the fucking
Well, you can come on here and promote it, bro.
the lay of the land.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Yo, amazing. We got to.
Dude, I had a lot of fun doing this, man. I'm gonna have you back. We're gonna do this all the time. You're gonna be my go-to guy, man. I
love it.
I loved doing this, and I want to make sure that everybody knows to check out Blaine's YouTube channel, subscribe, check him out on Instagram, check out his music. Just tap in with young Bllaine.
I appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure hanging out with you, whether it's on the camera or off the camera, man.
Hell yeah, man.
My brother for life, bro.
My bro. All right, peace.